Sure. Oh, hi guys. Hi Bree. Hi Leslie. Hi. Good morning. Or probably not for you, Leslie, is it? Hi. Oh, so exciting seeing the people popping on. I'll just awkwardly hang about for a couple of moments and wait for some people to pop on. Oh, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk. You know, obviously I've got a rough plan of what's going to... Oh, good evening, Leslie, yes. Obviously I've got a rough idea of what the information will be, but it's sort of like a big ballpark and we will see what comes out, because the intention is that whatever this group needs, the people, hi Amy, the people that are watching live, the people that are in the group now, or the people that in the future will come in, you know, the intention is that the message that whoever watches this video needs will come in. So we'll see what that is. And I highly encourage questions and interaction if that feels good for you, or if you have questions or you desire interaction. Yes, I enjoy that a lot, and it can be a beautiful prompt for you know, if someone has a question and it comes in, it can be a beautiful prompt to open up you know, another energetic angle. So it's really good. All right, actually I was debating whether I do it, but I think I will pull a card, because it's a little bit of a almost like a habit of mine now, where I almost any sort of like live that I do, I bring a hi Andrea. I sort of pull a card, read the message, and I actually, you know, I don't really even like follow up on that message. It's more sort of just you know, an intentional download for whoever needs it. You take what resonates, you let the rest go, that sort of thing. So now's probably a good time to get that card ready. Okay, so, oh yes, because not everyone knows me here. Hi Kristen. Oh, Andrea, sitting by the lake watching. How utterly divine. Are you cold? It's not that cold today here, is it? All right. So, I'll start by reading the Oracle card message, and then I'll introduce myself. I quite often forget to do that, but it feels good when I see other people do it, so I will try my best to not skip ahead and forget to introduce myself. But it feels like the card should come first. So the deck that I use, which is Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell, just so FYI, and the card that came out for anyone who's really ever going to Andrea, had a lot of requests from people joining to see you. That's so cool. Protection. And it says on there, call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. All right. So with this, if this is a sort of a new situation for you, like, you know, even something sort of like, say, I don't see this quirky and weird at all, but it might be for someone watching this. So, you know, I'm all about, I'm super grounded, you know, superhuman. Like if you meet me or interact with me, like, yeah, she's still here. But there's, you know, an element of us, which is energetic and spiritual, that we haven't been introduced to. So that's where these sorts of things come from. You know, the cards were intentionally, the messages were intentionally downloaded, the drawings were intentionally done. I've called out a card with an intention for, you know, a message that whoever watches this video can pull a little bit from. So there's a lot of potency and power in there. Hi Beck. What's happening here? Something's happening here. Oh, Leslie forgot to introduce herself too. Yeah, I don't know if I ever have, actually. And and there's a high chance that I'm actually going to skip over, but we'll see. We'll see. Hey, Liv. All right. Protection. 104. Yes, so if this is something new to you, who you're watching, reading out an oracle card, really all it is you take what resonates and you let the rest go. It's for a moment in time. It's for where we're all at energetically. There's different layers where I feel that these messages were created. So that's why it can have such a broad range of energetic messaging. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'll just read the thing. Protection. Call back your power. Cut the cords. Soul retrieval. You are being called to protect your energy and call back your power. May all the lost pieces return home now. Oh, whenever I do this, in a sort of a big sort of talk like this, I actually get super emotional because it's a little bit my emotion, because I'm like, I can see exactly why this card is here as soon as I start reading. But I think it's like a little bit of the group emotion as well. Anyway. Once again, I always promise I'm not going to talk through reading this, but then I do. Probably because it would be weird if you just started seeing tears roll down my face and I didn't explain why. That might be it. All right. You're being called to protect your energy and call back your power. May all the lost pieces return home now. Take a look at who and what drains your energy. Do not keep your tabs open. Shut down energetically each night. Energetic cords are formed between people, places, objects, and events, so it's important to keep checking in. Your energy and energetic space are sacred, so treat them as such. Keeping your energy clear takes work. As we go through life, we can give away our power, so it is important that we call it back by cutting energetic cords or doing a form of healing known as soul retrieval. Can you think of a traumatic event, relationship, or soul memory that you are being called to call back your power from? Check into your body now and see which chakra feels like it needs a bit of an energetic cleanup. This particular soul deck has sort of like a work your light activation thing, and it is a big one, but I will read it because I think it will be important to hear it. So it says to hold the card on the chakra or chakras. So they're just energy points down your body for people that don't know. I think that it doesn't matter. You can just feel into where you want to hold it. And if in doubt, just hold it at the heart, really. That needs cleaning, and repeat the following. I call back any lost soul fragments, power, or light now. Any vows, soul contracts, hexes, or programs from the past or present, from this life or others that are not in the highest good of all, I relinquish now. Any power or light that I have willingly or unwillingly given away or had taken from me, I call it back now. Any cords or attachments from this life or others, I release now for the highest good of all. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Okay. Hi, Rachel. Oh, I missed your wave. All right. So hopefully that lands on you in a way that feels empowering, if anything. Any feedback from that, please share. If you're coming on, please say hi so I know you're there. I can see a face and I can see a name rather than just a little number up the top. If you are watching the replay, please do, we say hashtag replay. You can hashtag whatever you want. Hashtag I made it. Hashtag Aliesha is amazing. Hashtag whatever, That's just my sense of humor. So, I am Aliesha Bannister. I am a person who I don't know what my actual, what do I, how you have a name, so I'm a qualified naturopath. So I used to say, yeah, I'm a naturopath, and then I changed it to, this isn't actual naturopathy that I'm doing anymore. So I said, hi, Brooke. Hi, Amelia. Thanks for saying hi. And so then I invented a term called an intuitive naturopath. And now it's like, actually, I've even sort of like, it's different from that now as well. So I am someone that works with the energy field of people through talking and feeling and things like that. So it's not a lay down on the table situation. It's you come in and we have a chat, and I think it's a whole new thing. That's why there's no word for it yet. So I'm here live. Nice hashtag, Liv. Yes, and you'll get a gist. Yeah, there is no name, and but it's really like, it's deep inner healing. It's understanding who you are as a human by connecting into your energy field, because that's where the energy field is as much a part of us as our physical body, and that's where we're moving towards, and that's where the world of what I'm going to talk about today is meeting. And yes, so the phrase thought leader sort of comes through with this from me, because it's like, okay, well, I'm sharing insights and thoughts that are expanding how we understand ourselves. So, an activator of humans. Basically, what we do is we sort of discover and clear out any of the energetic density that is stopping you from accessing more of your light. And the light is really just yourself. Like, it's just more of you. It's how I see it is, we've got these limiting beliefs about ourselves, and we have the energetic imprints of trauma and things like that in the energy field, and it's about healing them, because they are dense and they stop us, they distort our energetic frequency, and they sort of stop us from accessing more of who we are. They keep us small and in survival and safe, with good reason, right? But then there's a point that that doesn't serve us anymore, and it's time to sort of like up level, because it's not your actual energetic truth. It's just a survival mechanism that kept us safe until we felt okay to sort of expand back into more of ourselves. Right. Okay, so that was a deep dive. We just went straight in there. Great. The introduction of who I am and what I'm actually going to talk about just merged in the first 5 seconds. So that's good, I suppose. All right. So I've almost like dove in too far, and I just have to keep going now. So and please tell me if it's too much. Please tell me if you're like, please back it up a little, Aliesha. We don't know what you're actually talking about. But remember also, this is one thing that I've actually recently learned, is because I didn't do a lot of public speaking, is because I'm a firstborn. Oh, Beck, that's the best. You're like an energetic defibrillator. You help people reset their energy. It's going on the business card. It's happening. It's so funny. Now I'm totally distracted by the energetic defibrillator. It's amazing. The transmission. So, I'm a Virgo sun in astrology, and I'm a firstborn child as well, and a high achiever in the perfectionism thing. And like with doing talks, I was like, I don't really want to do them, because it's, you feel like, how am I going to remember what to say? How am I going to remember what to do? And all of a sudden, I've just realized it's not. So sure, you can't have everyone delivering their information like this. Well, maybe in the future you can, but it's like, it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to follow a logical thing, because it's actually a transmission. So people will, like those cards, people will tune in, and people will hear, for 3/4 that they might be like, she is babbling and I do not know what she's talking about. But then the bit that they need to hear will land. And that has really freed me up to be able to start sharing and talking and things like that, because it's like, I don't have to present a well-constructed, that fits, there's all these frameworks that fit how you tell a good story, how you deliver a good speech. And I have just put that to the wayside. So whether that's going to work out to be great or not, at least what it means is I am now speaking, and that's what matters, because I have an important message to share, as does everybody. And my message just happens to be one that does need to be shared with other people, because it's I'm a leader in this sphere, and I have it brings other people to life so they can share their transmissions and they can share their message, whatever that is, whether that's by parenting their child, or whether that's by being on stage to thousands and millions of people. It doesn't matter. The equality is the same in those two roles. Yeah. Okay. So, so what I really want to share today is, and this isn't going to be, so this is my caveat on this, is this isn't going to be for everybody. This isn't going to be everybody's path. You know, not everybody with anxiety has the same path, because their anxiety is there for different reasons. And the work that I do, and therefore the message that I share, is not when someone is in the deep, pure survival depths of mental health. My message might not be for them. My message is more so when you're sort of a little bit coming out the other side, and you can just catch your breath. If you can't catch your breath, we can't just switch out of that. We've got to sort of just keep stepping through that survival, and then when you're able to catch your breath a little bit, is probably more so when this is a path. Now, I could be wrong with that, but that's just from my experience. So, hi Jules. Hi Jules. Hi Kristen. Again, were you on before? No, might be a different Kristen. All right. So what I am very excited to share today is what I have learnt about anxiety, and seeing it sort of on and on and on. So when I first practiced as a naturopath, the first couple of years was clunky because I was following the protocols of that I was taught, right? And it's something that felt a bit missing for me. And I'm just laughing at Kristen popped in and came back. Something was missing for me, because I'm like, oh no, that's not what I was saying first. The first thing I was saying is, people always say, oh, what do you treat? What are you dealing? And I was like, oh, I don't really like treat actual conditions. I sort of deal in like a layer of the person. But then what I realized is, okay, if I just said anxiety, that captures mostly what I do. So that was my most, even when I was like still like super naturopathy, anxiety was the condition that I treated the most. So that, you know, when you see things repeatedly and then you sort of view a human like I view a human, you get to see, oh, there is patterns here and there is themes here that as a collective of humanity, we are currently looking to work through and up level beyond. So it's actually so cool. Like, I really get off on that stuff when I'm like, this is a thing, this is a theme, that people need to know this. You know, in my sessions, I use the Australian bushflower essences a lot, and we do the card readings. You pull the card out, and that, you know, I make your remedy based on the ones you pull out. And it was really cool when I also even started to see that like the same cards would come out over a week, and not exactly the same, but one card would keep coming through everybody's remedies. And I'm like, yeah, so the energy of that, and the energy and the they're energetic medicines that work on the emotional field and sort of balance emotions. It's not really what they do, but energetically they do. And you know, it's pretty ironic when the same card keeps coming out. Like and so when that first started happening, I was like, oh fuck, I didn't shuffle the cards. And so then I started putting cards. And I still do it to this day, even though I know it wasn't because I didn't shuffle them. I still, once someone's pulled out their cards, they pull out like 3 or 5. I make sure I slot them in all separate through the deck and then shuffle it up again. So, yes. So anxiety is the condition that I saw the most if I had to pick a condition. So it's given me some amazing insight, you know, and then like since that time, so I've been a naturopath for probably 11 years. Oh, it might be my anniversary soon. So let's say like 8 years of working this way. Yes, and then what I started seeing, so then I'm like, okay, because I have herbal medicine as well as that energetic medicine. I have herbal medicine, and there's amazing herbal medicine for the nervous system, for anxiety and depression. Get on board, guys. Go see somebody who can help you with that, wherever you are in the world. And that is something that is for anyone at any stage of their anxiety or the depression or their mental health. The herbal medicine is an amazing support while you walk the path of your journey. So that's a tiny side note, but obviously that will be useful for someone to know. And they can be used alongside antidepressants and things like that. You know, there's some red tape zones of the herbal medicine, but there's so many others available that are supportive and nourishing to you as a human while walking that journey. So I started, I was doing the herbal medicine and I was doing the flower essence remedies and all of that. And I was just like, something's still missing here, because in my mind, I adore the herbal medicine, and I'm like, and it makes changes and it is a great support, but I'm like, but it's still not really like fixing it. It's not healing it. It's supporting it, but it's not making it go away. It's not making the anxiety go away. And it's momentarily, yes, but the cycle would come back. And I'm like, I don't accept that. I don't accept that we have to live like this. I don't accept that it can subdue and then come back and we can't do anything about it. It's just like, I just did not accept that. And so then, I walked the path, walked the journey. I had my own experiences that probably helped me see that. That's sort of what I do. I've by no means suffered debilitating anxiety or debilitating depression or any of the other along the sphere of the mental health stuff. I've definitely had anxiety, but how I work is I sort of almost, if I just dip my toe in the lake, I understand the whole lake. That's just how I work, because that's what I'm here to do. And so just, dipping my toe in some very mild anxiety compared to what other people experience made me go, yeah, there's something else influencing us here. There is something else influencing how we feel and our physical and emotional and mental health. So, then as the world works and life works, I started understanding and exploring and being shown and investigating and educating and researching myself, and educate myself, not research myself. I mean, I sort of do, but not really. Researching the information. And I ended up landing in the energetic field. And I was like, right, okay, so essentially what the energy field is it's as much, as I said earlier, is as much part of us as this physical body that we have and can see and can feel. We just can't see it. And it is, the energy field sort of like extends out past us and then essentially actually through us. And that is the blueprint for the physical body. So that is the blueprint for if something is distorted in here. It's hard when I'm very like expressive with my hands, and being caged into a screen is hard. So when we have a shock or a trauma, or even when we're little, what our little being perceives as a shock or a trauma, it doesn't have to be super overt at all. We sort of get like what I say, like a little scarring in the energy field. It creates a little scarring which distorts the vibration, which then over time feeds information to the physical, and that's where disease comes from. That's where ill health comes from. That's where especially repeated patterns come from. So that was the first level of understanding that I got to, and that's where the flower essence remedies come in, because that's where they work. So that was revolutionary in itself, really, because it's like, okay, well, there's another area that we can look at to help people feel better in themselves. And then so that's for physical, that's for anxiety, that's for how we react to things in the world as well. So this energy field that I'm talking about is what we perceive the world through. It's like a filter that what we're seeing runs through our energy field. And if there's some imprints of like, an imprint of like a trauma or a difficult experience, or even just the layer of who we feel we are and our sense of worth, it passes through that. And so it is constantly keeping on feeding us that information, that same information. And that's the power of when we start diving into this part of ourselves, is it's like we take our glasses off that we didn't even know we were wearing, and we view the world differently. We view ourselves differently. We view the world differently. We relate to other people differently. It's actually amazing. Then there is also the, okay, so that's one bit. So I'm going to take a breath and let that sink in and check the comments. Actually, I'm going to have a sip of tea also. I don't know how any of this is going to make sense, but once again, it's a transmission. All right. The girls have been chatting. What's happening here? Flower essence, Amy says, the flower essences Kirsten makes me always bring out the good, so aligned, for sure. So Kirsten works like this. She's going to, I feel like, is she talking in here? We'll see. I can't remember if yes, she is, yes. Yeah, she's amazing. Andrea, I've never gone down the alternative medicine path. Definitely needed to hear these. Yes, girlfriend. We shall chat. Yeah, we shall chat. I just did not accept that. Yeah. I remember so clearly. I was like, no thanks. This isn't, I don't lay back and just take this. Yeah, Amy's having a chat to Andrea, but I'm going to read it out. It's not well known to the general public, I don't think, and the response I got from my normal GP that I was seeing a naturopath didn't go down well. It's good to look into a holistic approach, pick up the bits that work for you. So I'm actually going to talk to that, because that's a really, really good point. And it still blows my mind that happens. I don't hear it so much from my client base anymore, because my client base is sort of like, it's a bit different now. It's not... but God, I remember that so much, and I got so mad. I got so mad that we still live in a time where it's talked about like that, because it's like, guys, there's how are we not thankful that there's another modality or a whole nother area of looking at humans and healing and health? How are we not thankful that there's an area that is actually picking up the fucking slack and the massive abyss that exists from our mainstream medical? Like, they don't, it's a big abyss that I just still don't get why we're not all working together, because everyone needs to still exist. We still need the medical path 100%. I have had, when you start delving into other things, there was a time when I was super on my high horse around, when I started understanding where the anxiety and depression came from, and I was on my high horse around medication going, oh, it's just a Band-Aid, blah, blah, blah. And I got delivered a pretty big, it's like that I had an influx of clients that came in that this was years and years ago, were deciding to go on the antidepressants and the medication. And first of all, I don't judge, I never judged them. But then I really started to see how deeply of a role even from my perspective that they played. They allow you to catch your breath. And that's the key point. And that's where the medication can have such deep value when you are getting consumed by the mental health aspects of whatever your experience is. To catch your breath is the greatest gift you could have. We have to start there. We have to start where you feel like, and yeah, so that's what an amazing, there's no point for the rest of the stuff if you can't catch your breath. So it's, yeah, Andrea's saying they take the edge off. Yeah. And that's what's needed sometimes. Sometimes people won't need them and they can catch their breath and do whatever they need to do. But if you can't catch your breath, yeah, so, yeah, hopefully all of that was okay to share and express for everybody. But, yes. So, can't remember what I was saying, but I shall just move on to a different topic because I think that's what I was going to do anyway. So, if you are at a point with the, oh, hang on, what's here? Yeah, Beck says it comes from a place of fear and a complete utter lack of understanding. It's doctor training that needs a revamp. Oh, for sure. Like, and you know, I feel like, I just think, well, sort of, you know how I said, no, I don't accept that. I feel like I'm sure we're going to start having doctors coming through that are like, they're going to start asking the questions too. They're going to start, being like, hey, yeah, there's something missing here. So maybe they're yet to come, the doctors that are going to start to open up into that. And this isn't doctor bashing at all, promise. I don't doctor bash, I don't do anything. It's the system. It's a system that just is, it's not enough. And it's a little bit frustrating that it is still taking this long to, for them to seek more. But evolution of humanity, we're not ready yet, maybe. The masses aren't ready. Okay, so I'm sort of gonna, so that's just a little bit of an introduction to sort of like how I view the energy field. It's by no means like super in depth, but I'm sort of gonna flip what I'm delivering now, and explain it from sort of like the point of view of, okay, well, what's going on? What have I seen go on when someone is experiencing anxiety, and it is time to follow the thread that anxiety is showing us. So I've seen a lot that what happens is these beliefs that we have about ourselves and the world around us, there's a point where I don't really know what it is, but let's just say the soul is like, okay, I'm feeling too caged in now with these beliefs. It's time for them to go. So we have the anxiety that comes up and you're experiencing anxiety. It can be different, our health issues as well, but anxiety is a really big one. It's like there is a discord deep inside the self that is no longer serving. And the reason that it did serve earlier is because it was keeping us safe and holding us protected. But to keep us safe, it has to keep us small and in the known, because the known is the safe. And there's a point where that no longer is working for that human or the soul. And so then we start getting these symptoms, and it's like, okay, we've got to follow the thread of what it is trying to get us to see. And there's a lot of, oh, my legs, hang on. There's a lot of, it can be all sorts of things, and there's a lot of fear of what's called the shadow, and there's a lot of fear of what lives in there, because it can be like, if we have patterns of shame through us, because the shame is the belief that we are bad. Like, that's not a comfortable position to be in. So there's a lot of fear of sort of going into, hey Christina, there's a lot of fear of going into these unseen parts of self, because we feel that we're going to be discovered to be bad or to be shit, or but it's just a storyline that's programmed in. It's not reality. Shame isn't real. Guilt isn't real. Fear isn't real. It's a very real experience, but it's just an energetic distortion of your true vibration, which is the vibration of love and light. Frequency, not only love and light. I'm so not in for, we've all got to be positive and into love and light. There is dark. There has to be dark. It's the harmony and the balance, but we don't need to fear the dark. We don't need to fear our own dark. So really what the anxiety can be at a certain point in time in your life for certain people. This is not the path for everyone, as I said before, so I don't want you to feel like you have to dive into this if it's not the right window of time for you. But for some people, you will hear this and you'll be like, hell yes. And there's so many other things that if this isn't a hell yes for you now, there is so many beautiful other paths to take. So delving into these unseen parts of you is a very liberating experience, and that's what the anxiety is quite often wanting. It's wanting that liberation. It's there because it's feeling too small, and that feels uncomfortable now, and so it's trying to get your attention. And what lays in there, sometimes it can be like the layers of some really difficult experiences in your life. The energetic imprint of that time is ready to go. So, you know, that's the deeper layer of healing, isn't it? Like removing the energetic imprints of difficult times or emotional shocks or traumatic experiences. That's the next level healing, is moving them on from your field. And that's really brave work. It's not necessarily scary work. It's probably depends on the level, of course. But it is, if it is your journey to do that work, it's very liberating. I always get really hesitant to talk about how the area of trauma that I work in, because it's further down the path than it has to be further down the path, because there has to be some processing that's already happened to then get the imprint out. It's just the imprint is what's left after you've already done that the inner journey before, counseling, psychology, any other thing like that. Super happy to talk one-on-one with people about that though, and like I adore doing that work one-on-one with people. I'm just very cautious and considerate in expressing that to an open forum sort of thing, because I don't want to my intention is do no harm. Like I don't want to dance in areas that are too triggering for people when they haven't opted in for that. That's that's what's going on there. Amy. Yes, Rachel needed short-term meds for a few months at a time when I spiraled so far down I couldn't climb out. Helped you catch your breath. Yeah. Amy has the shame, guilt, trying to work on that. You got it. My anxiety's been so high lately and I feel like it's yelling at me, I'm ready to leave you now. Yep, it's getting your attention. It's trying to say, hey, look here, there's another thing ready to go. There's another thing ready to go. There's a bit you can see now. There's a bit, the anxiety, because we are really freaking good packers, I tell you. We pack so much of our emotional stuff and our mental stuff deep into our field. It's like an abyss. I even got, sometimes I get sort of like shown things when I'm in one-on-one consult with someone. I get shown like an image or whatever, so I can understand sort of where their stuff is. And I got I got an image one time of like netting, like white netting, but like the eco shopping bags. They're super stretchy, and I was like, this particular topic we were talking about in the session. I saw it was, because a lot of the time I see it as like luggage just packed away in boxes, just neatly stacked, because if it was messy stacked, it might catch our eye, but if we have it neatly stacked, we forget about it. So we're very clever in how we pack away our stuff. And it was like I saw the net, it was like this because of how far away this particular aspect of this person's self was pushed, but it creates bigger drag. That's the vision. So it was like, the net was like at its max and fully stretched, and all the stuff we were talking about was at the base of it. And that's how heavy it is to drag this around. It's unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable. Don't know why I was talking about that, but that's why. So that when the anxiety is how Amy just described it, that she feels her anxiety is saying, I'm ready for this to leave me now. The anxiety itself is the communication, but it's also the portal. So what we do is it's like it energetically opens that part of your energy field that we can go in and see what's in there. And in the way that I work, once we see it, already its power leaves. It's actually amazing. It's just that it just needed to be seen. Now, that is not for everybody. That is only the people that, come in, and that's their time. Other times there's layers, and we've just got to, like, we do some remedies, and we just get in. Sometimes, whatever the particular aspect of self that has been sort of pushed to the side, sometimes we just have to sit next to it. It's like, no, we ain't going in today. It's not letting us in. It's not ready. And we completely honor that, obviously. And that's the only way that I work is I can't crack somebody unless it's time for them to be cracked. And we always get that information, and we always get that feel. And yeah, sometimes we just sit next to it for a bit, and that sort of already shifts something in the energy field to go, okay, well, next time maybe we're ready to go in. Yeah, it's really cool. This is so not how I thought I was going to deliver this, so but this is how it's happening now. And so really the bottom line is that the anxiety can be a messenger to say, I'm ready to access this part because it's weighing us down now. It's very heavy and it's very dense, and it's time for it to go. And you just are lighter as a being. It's easier for you to feel well. It's easier for you to experience joy. It's easier for you to expand into your purpose. It's easier for you to relate to other people around you in a way, like, when we're sort of trying to communicate, because how we communicate is through our energy fields first. That's how people read us. They don't know they're doing that. But vice versa, yeah. Oh gosh. So much. There's so much. And it's new. It's sort of like a new way of looking at it too. So it's not even like super clear how to describe it, but Beck says, Aliesha was the first person who got me to realize that my anxiety was telling me that I needed to heal. It was the first time I flipped my anxiety and looked at it from a point of view that it was actually trying to help me. And I was a panic attack a day, debilitating anxiety, gal. Oh, Beck, so good. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Amy, mine has layers from years of trauma shoved down over and over, and it's so dense. Yep, stuff sometimes, for sure. But that's how amazing we are as well, because this is the thing, isn't it? So a major message that I always want to share is your body is not trying to fuck with you. It's not. It's working for you at all times. We just got to try and understand where it's coming from and what it needs. So the fact that it can pack so much stuff was because the world wasn't ready for you to feel that. The world wasn't ready to help you through that. We're here for soul journeys too. A soul journey is not always a smooth sailing path, which is really freaking annoying, but it's not. And so how amazing that you could still help you be a functioning human, because it packed away that stuff until you arrived where you could catch your breath and you arrived on some solid ground, and then you can look at it. It's amazing. It's working for you. And then I had a little communication system saying, hey, something's not right in my field here, and I'm going to let you know, so that you have to step. Because why, if we felt completely whole and connected and present, why would we unpack difficult and painful things? We actually just wouldn't. So there needs to be something that comes up that makes it worse to not look at the stuff than to look at the stuff. I don't know if I said that right, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's like, actually, I have no option now but to follow this path. And, you know, it happens all the time. People come in to see me, and I don't mean to keep talking about me, but this is just, you guys can extrapolate out what I'm talking about. But people come in, and like, I come in, you know, maybe that's why I became a naturopath too. So I had the connection that people would come in for, you know, a physical thing. And, you know, a few consults down the track, we're not talking about that thing anymore, because it happens so quickly now, where we jump into the energy field, we jump into the behind the scenes. So your body will give you something. If we're not hearing the subtle messages, it will give you something. It will get louder and louder and louder, because this is a non-negotiable for a lot of us. We have to do this work. We're here to do this healing work in our own inner field. It's how we liberate. There's a lot of density in the collective energy field of humanity that can't stay here anymore. Look at what we're seeing across the world. The density, we can't live in this density anymore, so we've got to heal it. So each of us are going in. We do our own inner work. It goes into it starts to swing the pendulum a certain way for the collective. Amy says, I feel like you're talking directly to me with where I'm at. Yeah, so this is a cool message for you to hear. Mine was originally constipation. Totally. Yep. And look, constipation is a great thing to work on too, because that is uncomfortable, and it's a body sign as well. Like, the physical is still a body sign. You know, it's still a sign. Your body is always communicating. And the anxiety and depression is part of the communication from the energy field, rather than just the physical body. With depression, I haven't worked with depression as much, but and certainly not severe depression. That's not so much my particular level of experience. But with depression, there is anxiety too, but slightly different. It's a longing for a deep connection back into self. And that's, you know, what we are, you know, here to share the message on as well, is we've been so disconnected from our own inner worlds. We give our power away outside of ourselves all the time. Medical, birthing, on the daily, so many things. Our power, we've lost that connection to our own inner knowing and our own inner wisdom and our own inner guidance system. And sexually, we give our power away sexually. And that's really what a lot of this is about too, is about calling back in our connection to ourselves, so that we can be governed by our own inner wisdom. That's what all of this is, yeah. And the depression, I feel, is I'm not as clear on it, hence not sort of so much talking about it, but there is a longing for a connection back within. And so then from there we look at going, okay, well, what's in the way of that innate connection? What's in the way of that? Which is all of these layers of the societal storylines, the generational traumas that get passed through. Because, you know, I tell you what, like, the people above us generationally, they never had, they experienced a lot of trauma, and they never had anyone really helping them heal through that. So a lot of that stuff is now, you know, it's sort of this level of generation, and beyond. We're here to get that out. We're here to clear that out. And so, you know, a lot of the time, if you haven't had super overt difficult experiences or sort of trauma in your life, but yet you've got something playing out in your energy field, like a discord, like what I talk about with anxiety or the depression. You know, it could be a soul that put its hand up to as it was birthed to pick up a few of these storylines, because it was also the soul, if you're in a group like this, it was also the soul that was going to be able to have access to knowing what to do with that and being able to come in contact with people or an aspect of self that is going to be able to do the deep inner healing work. Yeah. Right. How long have I been talking for? Someone pop a little. Not that that really matters, but. So following these threads, as I was thinking, my eye just glanced back down to the Oracle card and the calling back in your power. When I was reading it out, the calling back in your power was sort of like had a fair bit of energetic grab for me. So I feel like that was a little bit of the gist of why that Oracle card came out. And it's about calling back in your power, and how you do that is by visiting your inner realm, which is the unseen parts of you, this energetic field, and meeting her and seeing what she's been trying to say and seeing what no longer serves anymore. And it's just there's so much beauty that you can access when we go into this part of ourselves, and it's so liberating, and it's so connecting, and it's so empowering. It's really, really good. So this message sort of feels like this is like, yep, this is the message that I've been waiting for and needing to hear. Even if it's not, and you've made it this much through the video, then there's a point in time, it could be in 5 years, it could be in 10 years, where you're like, you know, you've already visited this once, and so it's going to be easy for you to find your person, you know, or find your healing guide or whatever, because you already know, it's like the doorway, you already know the door exists. That's the thing that I really was the big thing, is that I really want people to know that this door exists, that you can walk through this. There is hope. There is a whole new floor in the building of options that you may or may not have known existed. And that's a very big thing that I wanted to share for people, because they don't know. They don't know. You know, so there's, and that's why the information around the naturopathy and the herbal medicine is, because it was showing that there's quite a few different options when you go through this door. Yeah, which is so amazing. I actually desperately wish that we were all just in person in a circle right now to sort of like just check in with everyone with how this has landed for them and how they're feeling. If for some reason it has been a little much or a little overwhelming, then I definitely invite you to take a few deep breaths and sort of just think it with your mind, and like just land back into your body just for this moment even, and say that whatever information is for me, stay with me, and I'll let the rest go. Right. Does anybody have any questions? Anyone who's on live have any questions? Because otherwise I might leave it there. Because that's maybe enough to share. But basically, the answers are inside yourself. So find the people that help take you there when it feels right. They've got to feel right. Don't give your power away to anybody else. You must learn the art of, when you are told something, like you're employing the services of an expert, yes, but it's still like, run what that expert tells you through your energy field and say, does this seem right for me? Find people that you trust, find people that make you feel hopeful, but you must trust them as well. You must trust your feeling. You must have that gut response of, yeah, this is a person for me. And, you know, there's going to be never one person. My God, it can't be one person. that helps you. It's got to be a team, because everyone has different perspectives, and their energy field is different, and so they give you a little bit more guidance and a little bit more of a return back to yourself with having a whole team. I definitely feel that if you are someone who has done a lot of psychology work or a lot of counseling, and whether that's been actually super useful or not, for some people that is definitely life-changing, and that's amazing. But if you're like, okay, I've learnt the tools and I've learnt about myself and I've learnt the strategies, but yet my anxiety still does exist. So if your coping mechanisms were taken away, would the anxiety rise back up? Then they're some of my ideal clients, because it's like, okay, well, you know yourself enough, you know your patterns and you know your themes. Now we just go a layer deeper and we look to go, okay, well, why does that anxiety or why are those themes there? And we look to up-level them. And a lot of them will be able to be moved on, according to the plan for the soul, of course. But yes, so I share that with you to know, okay, even when you've done a lot of that work, there still can be there's more that you can do. I see that a lot with people who, and I adore that the coping mechanisms have been found, because then that's like, we can get through the day. But I see a lot when people come in, and for whatever reason, and that's what's definitely happening at the moment for sure with the with the whole state of the world and being in lockdown and all of that, a lot of people's coping mechanisms, they can't do them the same way or access them, and so then I just want you to know that that's not how you have to live. There is options if it feels right for you, and if you want to take that path, there are options to delve into and explore this part of yourself. Okay. Amy says, it's like you just miss your true self so much, even when you never thought you knew who she was to begin with. Yeah. And it's yeah, let's go get her. I've been shown quite a few times, it's really cool, that a lot of the, the distorted beliefs that we have about self that are formed from experiences or set off by something you overheard when you were 2 years old, But I always think that they were just maybe like the codes for them were laying in your blueprint, and you were sort of almost supposed to have them activated to therefore go through the healing journey. That's how I sort of look at it. Whatever existed was supposed to exist. That's our baseline, and then we work to find the healing from there. And why was I saying that? Oh yeah, and this is how I've been shown this a lot, where it's like, okay, well, some of those distorted beliefs or whatever are like a brick wall, and when we do the healing work, we're just taking out bricks and the light just starts shining in. The light is always there. The more of you has always existed. Just this human sort of aspect doesn't have access to it. And so what we do is we work to give you access to it. It's really cool. Yeah, that was like a very strong vision that I've been shown, where this work is you take a brick out and the light just pours in, because the light is always there. Okay, maybe I'll finish on that analogy. If please share how this feels for you, if you feel you desire to. I really enjoy knowing how this lands with people. It's a slightly uncomfortable thing for me to talk to a screen, knowing it's going to people that I don't know their story and I don't know where they're at, because I can't read how it's being responded. Hi, Tan. Yes. So that is that's me sharing my vulnerability, that it's not super, I'm still leaning into just trusting that the message will be fine for whoever hears it. And if somebody feels like this is a very exciting thing for them, please, and you want someone to either work with, or even just you want to keep hearing this stuff, please, I invite you to come onto my social media pages, or just set the intention, and your person will come to you if you don't feel that I'm quite your person. I do, for anyone that is hungry for it and feels like the right time, I do one-on-one sessions. I've got a group membership called the Inner Realm Collective. I've got a 3-month journey called True North that I'm about to launch, which is sort of like it's a big deep dive, and I'm really excited for that. So if that feels like where you're at, follow along, see the posts, hear the chats, and whatever. There's so many avenues of where you can just start reading books, and just be kind, and just sit quietly with yourself sometimes. Journaling and things like that can really help us gain access within. So you can find people that, I do talk about that a lot in the Inner Realm Collective. I educate and share how journaling has helped me and why we would want to journal, and how we can use that as a tool to find out what's going on in our inner realm. It's amazing. There's so much available to us, and it stems from checking in with yourself and going, what's next for me, what's important for me, and taking the steps accordingly, whatever that is. And the you that you have, this inner sense that can exist, does exist. We just got to get access to it. All right, I'm going to stop talking now. It's been so great. Thank you for having me here. And I really look forward to anyone watching the replay, sending you comments, all of that. Bye.